While I was out buying her flowers, my girlfriend posted a TikTok titled, "Get ready with me to dump my boyfriend." She even mocked my outfit, laughing, "He won't see it coming." I watched it in the parking lot, smiled, and said nothing. 6 hours later, she posted he actually did it. It hit 4 million views, but her DMs were empty after what I did next. I was standing inside Riverbend Flowers and Gifts on a rainy Thursday night, holding a bouquet of white tulips, Harper's favorite, when my phone started blowing up like it was on fire. 5 texts in under 10 seconds, all from different people, all saying the same thing. "Bro, check TikTok now." I didn't even have to search. The video was sitting right there on my For You page, pinned to the top because 3 of my friends had already sent it to me. There she was, Harper Lane, my girlfriend, 25, all charm and chaos, wearing that emerald green dress I bought her for our anniversary. Full glam, perfect hair, that practiced influencer smile that never quite reached her eyes. Text overlay, "Get ready with me to dump my boyfriend tonight." The audio was some smug breakup anthem. She lip-synced to every word, spinning her hairbrush like a microphone, dancing while she packed her overnight bag. The same one we'd taken on our first trip together. 47 minutes old. 390,000 views. 28,000 likes. Over 1,000 comments. "Yes, Queen, do it for you." He probably deserved it. Can't wait for the story time. I just stood there, the tulips shaking in my hand. Ruth, the florist, noticed. She was this older lady with kind eyes who'd been tying a ribbon around the bouquet. "You okay, hon?" I didn't answer. I just swallowed hard and stared at the screen, watching Harper laugh as she mouthed the lyrics about being free again. She had planned this. Full makeup, lighting, editing. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment video. She'd scheduled the breakup like it was content. She wasn't supposed to be filming anything tonight. She told me she was at her friend Lydia's house for a girls' night. My throat burned. I set the flowers down on the counter, said, "I changed my mind," and walked out into the rain. My group chat was going insane. Noah, "Dude, what the hell?" Eli, "Tell me this is fake." Dante, "Want us to pull up?" I didn't reply. I just drove, hands white-knuckled on the wheel, rain smearing the windshield. By the time I pulled into the parking lot of our apartment, the one we'd moved into together 6 months ago, her video had passed 500,000 views. I sat in the car for a long time watching the view count rise, watching my girlfriend's face pop up again and again on people's duet reactions. Queen behavior. Iconic. Men deserve less. Finally, I opened TikTok. Hit record. So, I just saw my girlfriend's video, the one where she says she's dumping me tonight. Here's the thing, Harper. You don't have to. I turned the camera around to show our living room, her decorations, her plants, her throw blankets. Because I'm doing it first. I paused, looked straight into the lens. You wanted content? Here's your ending. Then I posted it. No hashtags, no caption, just raw. 10 minutes later, it had 20K views. By the time she got home, it was over 2 million. And that was before I found out the part that broke me worse than the video. Because the betrayal I saw online wasn't even the real one. Before everything went viral, Harper Lane was just a girl I met in the coffee shop across from my office in downtown Columbus. She was behind me in line, arguing with the barista about how the foam on her oat milk latte was too thin to photograph. I remember laughing under my breath, and she turned to me with this little smirk that could melt steel. "You ever try building a personal brand?" she asked. That was Harper in one sentence. Everything was a brand. Every outfit, every smile, every date. Even back then, I thought it was kind of funny. Endearing, even. I worked IT for a logistics firm. She was studying marketing and running a lifestyle page called Harper Days. We started talking, then dating, and I'll be honest, those first few months were magic. She was electric. I'd never met someone so full of plans, ideas, constant motion. I'd come home to find her setting up ring lights in our tiny apartment, or posing the dog next to her smoothie bowl. It was weird, yeah, but she made it look effortless. She'd say, Babe, don't you see? Every moment's content if you frame it right. I should have run then, but I didn't. I loved the way she believed in herself. Her followers started growing fast. 10K, 20K, 50K. Then came brand deals. Free makeup, paid posts, wellness collabs. She called it her digital portfolio. I called it what it was, her life becoming a movie she was directing, starring herself with me as the background character. Started small. She'd post photos of us at dinner without asking. Then she began filming me reacting to funny couple questions. But only posting the parts that made me look dumb. I'd tell her, "Can you at least warn me?" She'd roll her eyes. "It's just engagement, Noah. Don't be dramatic." I tried to be supportive. When she hit 100K, I took her out to dinner, her favorite sushi place. She spent most of the night editing a story about the power of manifestation. I paid the bill and drove us home in silence. The first real fight happened 2 months later. She'd posted a video called, "What Living with Your Emotionally Unavailable Boyfriend Looks Like." Clips of me working on my laptop, sitting on the couch half asleep, stuff she filmed without me knowing. It hit 2.3 million views. Comments like, "Girl, leave him," and she laughed about it. I told her that was crossing a line. She said I was threatened by her success. That was when I started realizing she didn't see me as her partner anymore. I was her content strategy. The next few months were a blur. Harper got invited to events, started hanging around other influencers, people who spoke in algorithms and sponsorship codes. The Harper I knew, the one who loved late-night drives and cheap wine, was disappearing behind filters and captions. Then came the first big secret. One night, I found a stack of mail on the counter, mostly brand packages. At the bottom was a letter from an LA management agency. "Congratulations on your acceptance to the Creator Collective Accelerator Program." I had no idea she'd even applied. When I asked her, she shrugged. Didn't want to say anything until it was official. It's just 6 weeks online. Chill. But it wasn't just 6 weeks. It was contracts, networking, weekly brand meetings. Suddenly our apartment was a set. I had to walk around ring lights and tripods. She started talking about my audience like it was a living, breathing thing. I told myself she'd calm down once she made it big. But deep down, I knew I was losing her. Not to another guy, to the camera. The night before everything blew up, we'd had dinner together. She seemed distracted, kept checking her phone. Said she was going to Lydia's for wine and girl talk. Kissed me on the cheek. Said she loved me and walked out. 8 hours later, she posted the video. But here's the thing. That "get ready with me to dump my boyfriend" wasn't the start of her plan. It was the end. Because I didn't know it then. But Harper had been plotting that breakup video for weeks. And someone I thought was my friend helped her make it happen. After the breakup video, everything online went nuclear. By sunrise, Harper's "Get Ready with Me to Dump My Boyfriend" clip had crossed 3.1 million views. Every major gossip account had reposted it, captioning it like she was some kind of hero. Girl boss energy. She dumped him before he could dump her. Men fear this woman. Her follower count exploded overnight, 110K to 260K by breakfast. My phone, meanwhile, was a war zone of texts, DMs, and missed calls. Half the people were saying, "Bro, I'm so sorry." The other half were sending me screenshots of her new pinned comment. "He'll see this before I tell him." Poetic, right? That line hit harder than the video. I didn't even try to sleep. Just sat on Colby's couch with a beer and watched her feed transform in real time. Every hour, a new post. Healing after betrayal. Why I had to walk away. Don't ignore red flags, even if you love them. She was milking it. Hashtags. Engagement. Authenticity. I knew her. She'd cry on camera with perfect eyeliner, then check her analytics the moment she stopped recording. But what made it worse? She was winning. Brands started commenting. Big ones. A skincare company sent her flowers. An energy drink offered her a sponsorship. She did live streams talking about choosing yourself, and her audience ate it up. Meanwhile, I was the faceless villain. The boyfriend everyone was sure had done something unforgivable. 3 days after the breakup, She posted a video titled, "When he dumps you before you can explain why you had to do it." She was sobbing on our old couch. Caption, "I never meant to hurt anyone. This just got bigger than I thought." That video hit 5 million views in 2 days. Mine, the one where I dumped her first, plateaued at around 4. And then came the DMs. From fake accounts, burner profiles, random people calling me a narcissist, a manipulator, even an abuser. I had to turn off comments on everything. That was when I realized something wasn't adding up. Because Harper wasn't just getting sympathy. She was curating it. The day after she hit 400K followers, she posted a vlog of herself crying while holding my hoodie. Except I recognized the clip. It wasn't new. It was from months ago, the night her dog got sick and I'd filmed her comforting him. She had saved it and repurposed it as breakup content. That's when I knew. She had been stockpiling footage, preparing, building her narrative before she ever filmed that TikTok. I started digging, checked her public Venmo, her business email, her LinkedIn. It all screamed brand strategist. But then I found something else. A private folder in our shared Google Drive, titled Rebrand. Inside were draft posts, notes, and an outline titled Soft Launch of Independence. Under that, a line that made my stomach drop: dump video, emotional hook, high engagement, premise, reclaiming my story. Phase 2, tell-all collab with Lydia. She'd planned the breakup like a marketing campaign. She even wrote scripts for how she'd respond to backlash, lines about boundaries and emotional healing. But that wasn't even the worst part. The folder had videos, unseen ones, clips of me arguing mid-sentence, clearly edited to sound like I was yelling. One where she'd asked me to repeat something because the mic hadn't picked it up. She'd been manufacturing evidence. I remember staring at the screen, every nerve in my body numb, realizing that the woman I'd loved wasn't impulsive. She was calculating. That night, I called Lydia, her best friend, and demanded to know what the hell was going on. She didn't answer. But 20 minutes later, I got a text. "You don't understand what she's been through, Noah. Just let her tell her story." Story. That word again. It wasn't life to Harper. It was content. The next morning, TMZ posted an article. Viral creator Harper Lane speaks on her breakup. Says she felt controlled by ex. And right there, under the subheading, was a quote from Harper herself. "I wasn't allowed to have my own voice." That's when I realized she wasn't just breaking up with me. She was erasing me, rewriting who I was into something she could profit from. But she'd made one mistake. She'd underestimated how much I'd learned from her about the internet, and how easy it was to turn a story around when you had the truth. 3 days after the TMZ article dropped, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, figured it was another troll. But something in me said to answer. "Hey, Noah," a shaky voice said. "It's Lydia." I froze. Harper's best friend. The one who'd been there the night she filmed that breakup video. "What do you want?" I asked, flat. "I need to tell you something, and I can't text it." "She checks my phone sometimes." That got my attention. "Checks your phone? Just listen. Harper's been working with a media company. A real one. They're making a docuseries about her healing journey. She already signed the contracts." I stood up from the couch, pacing. "A docuseries? About what?" "Dumping me on TikTok." "She's not telling the truth," Lydia whispered. "They've already started filming interviews. She's saying you were controlling, that you tracked her phone, that you wouldn't let her post." "That's a lie," I snapped. "I know." Lydia's voice cracked. "She's making me back it up. She told the producers I witnessed it. Said she'd cut me off if I didn't help her build the narrative." I leaned against the counter, gripping it so hard my knuckles went white. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I was the one who came up with the breakup video idea." She paused. "I told her it would go viral. I didn't think she'd actually do it behind your back." My stomach dropped. "You what?" "I thought it would be funny. A joke. But now she's rewriting everything. She's got meetings with a PR team, brand managers, all of it. They're saying it could be her big break. The girl who escaped a toxic boyfriend. Silence stretched for a long time. I could hear her breathing through the line, quick and guilty. She's calling it the freedom edit, Lydia said finally. She wants to turn your whole relationship into a storyline. The producers are pushing for tears, trauma, all that. She's saying you yelled, that you isolated her. She's showing old clips as proof. Jesus Christ, I muttered. I told her to stop. She said I'm replaceable. That if I cross her, she'll tell people I covered for you. I don't want to be in this mess anymore. But you deserve to know. My pulse was pounding so loud I could barely hear her last words. She's not just trying to get famous, Noah. She's trying to destroy you. Because she thinks you humiliated her by posting your video first. That was the moment everything snapped into focus. This wasn't heartbreak anymore. It was a war for the narrative. And Harper was winning. I hung up and sat there, staring at the wall. The rage that hit me was cold, surgical. Within an hour, I had screenshots of everything. The TMZ article, the production company's posts, Lydia's texts. I called my uncle, Richard. He's a lawyer who's handled entertainment contracts for years. He listened quietly while I explained everything, then said one sentence that changed everything. If she's using your likeness and defaming you for profit, we can bury her. That's when the plan started forming. Harper thought she was building a brand on heartbreak. She didn't realize she'd built it on fraud. I spent that night collecting proof, timestamps, archived TikToks, emails, all showing she'd been planning the breakup before any supposed controlling behavior. And then, at 2:14 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Unknown. You can't stop this. They already paid her. $80,000. I replied, who is this? The typing dots appeared, then vanished. A minute later, a second message came through. Unknown. Ask yourself why Lydia's really talking to you. That's when it hit me. There was another layer to this. Someone was feeding Harper information. Someone who knew everything I was planning. And the next morning I found out who. Because Harper posted a new video titled, My Ex is Threatening Legal Action to Silence Me. And in that video she played a recording of me, my voice, my words, saying things I'd only told Lydia the night before. That's when I realized Lydia wasn't warning me. She was baiting me. When Harper posted that video, the one with my voice, it hit 2 million views in under an hour. The caption read, I tried to move on, but my ex is harassing me and threatening lawsuits. Please stop protecting abusers. And the worst part? The clip she used wasn't even incriminating. Just me saying, you need to stop lying before I protect myself. But she'd edited it, added suspenseful background music, and cropped it to sound menacing. Comments poured in like wildfire. Typical narcissist behavior. He's mad she's thriving. Girl, get a restraining order. I remember sitting there on Colby's couch, phone buzzing nonstop, and feeling this cold calm settle over me. Not rage, not panic, just this razor-sharp clarity. She wanted to play dirty? Fine. She forgot I'd spent 18 months watching her build an empire out of manipulation, and I'd learned exactly how to dismantle one. First move. I looped in my Uncle Richard, again. We drafted a cease and desist letter for both Harper and the production company. Straightforward, precise, legal teeth on every line. Unauthorized use of image and likeness. Defamation of character. False statements made for monetary gain. He emailed them the documents that night. Then I went to work on my end, the digital side. See, Harper had built her entire career on authenticity. But she was sloppy. Her public Venmo? Open. Her brand emails? Not hard to trace. She'd been accepting promo payments under a personal account and never disclosed them. That's an FTC violation. So, I gathered screenshots, timestamps, transaction IDs, everything. Sent them to a small, ruthless gossip account called Creator Leaks, the kind that doesn't care about legal gray areas as long as the tea is hot. At the same time, I drafted my own post. Not a TikTok. Not some emotional rant. A clear, factual statement with evidence attached. Since my ex has decided to monetize our breakup, I'm forced to protect myself. Attached are receipts showing her fabricating narratives, using edited audio, and violating federal disclosure laws for paid content. No hashtags, no theatrics, just evidence. I posted it to Reddit, not TikTok. Her audience wouldn't expect that. Then, for good measure, I sent the same screenshots to 2 mid-size YouTube commentary channels that specialized in influencer scandals. And then, I waited. The first domino fell fast. Creator Leaks posted the receipts with the headline, "Influencer Harper Lane caught faking abuse allegations for sponsorships?" Within 12 hours, her comments went from, "We love you, Queen," to "Wait, what's this about lying?" The production company called my uncle in a panic. They'd seen the letter. Without my signed release, they couldn't air Harper's documentary. And now they were sitting on a PR nightmare. Richard called me that night. "They're desperate. They're offering $50,000 for your cooperation and image rights, plus script review." I laughed. "Make it 90 and I want final approval on every scene that mentions me." He didn't blink. Done. By Friday, the deal was sealed. $95,000 wired to my account. Harper's Freedom Edit was legally handcuffed. They couldn't release anything unless I signed off. But here's the part that made my blood run cold. That night, I got another message. No name, no profile picture. "Nice move, but she's not finished. Check her drafts folder before it's too late." It was sent from Harper's old iCloud. The one I'd helped her set up. Somehow, I still had access. Curiosity got the best of me. I logged in. Hundreds of draft videos. Unposted. Some unfinished. But one was titled Final Chapter. I pressed play. Harper sat on our old couch, makeup smeared, pretending to cry. "If anything happens to me," she said, "just know, it was him." I froze. That was when I understood. This wasn't just about followers anymore. She was creating a backup narrative. Failsafe. If her reputation went down, she'd take me with her. And the worst part? Someone else was filming that video. You could hear breathing behind the camera. A voice whispering, "Perfect, babe. That's the one." It wasn't Lydia. It was a man's voice. I watched that clip at least 10 times, trying to make sense of it. Harper, fake crying, blaming me for something that hadn't even happened. And a man's voice behind the camera, coaching her. That voice haunted me. It was low, calm, too familiar. Then, around the 4th playback, I caught something small, a reflection in the mirror behind her. Tattoo. A snake wrapping around a wrist. And my stomach dropped. It was Eli, my friend. We'd been close since college. He'd helped me move into that apartment with Harper. He'd been the guy texting, "You good, bro?" The night she posted the breakup video. The guy who'd offered to talk to her for me when everything first exploded online. Now he was the one filming her, coaching her, sleeping with her. It hit me like a car crash. Every strange gap, every weird text from him after the breakup suddenly made sense. The sudden sympathy, the way he kept asking if I still had access to our shared accounts, the way he never once criticized her publicly. He wasn't just helping her. He was with her. I didn't sleep that night, didn't move, didn't even cry. By morning, the shock had turned to something else. That sharp, freezing kind of focus that only comes when you're too angry to feel pain. Eli had been my friend for 8 years. He'd borrowed money from me, crashed on my couch, met my family. And now he was recording staged victim videos with my ex. Videos framing me as some kind of abuser. It was a setup. A total rewrite of reality. I needed proof that no one could spin. So, I reached out to Lydia again, the friend who'd warned me before. I told her straight, "I know about Eli. I know he's working with Harper. If you know something else, now's your chance to come clean." She replied 2 hours later with a voice note. She sounded terrified. "Noah, I swear I didn't know about Eli at first, but she's been seeing him since before the breakup. They met at a brand shoot. He's in on everything. He's her manager now. He helped write the fake abuse script. He told her to save that video, the one you found, just in case she needed leverage." "Leverage," she said again, quieter this time. "He said people love tragedy. That if she fell from grace, the next step was redemption. He called it her Phoenix arc. I almost laughed. The insanity of it. These two people, one I loved, one I trusted, were turning my life into marketing strategy. Then Lydia said something that chilled me. There's more. The docuseries? It wasn't just her idea. The company's paying him too. He's listed as an associate producer. That's when the plan crystallized. They weren't making a love story or a breakup story. They were making a villain origin story. Mine. And they were both going to cash out on it. But there was something neither of them knew. When I'd signed that $95,000 deal with the production company, I'd negotiated final approval rights. They couldn't release a single frame of footage with me in it or referencing me without my consent. So I did the one thing they didn't expect. I requested a copy of all raw footage for legal review, and they had to send it. 6 days later, a hard drive arrived at my lawyer's office. 32 hours of unedited interviews, B-roll and behind-the-scenes footage. And there it was, a clip from a planning meeting. Harper and Eli sitting together in her apartment, whispering about narrative arcs and keeping the audience hooked. Eli, if we play this right, you'll double your followers. You'll be the girl who overcame a monster. Harper, and you'll be my rock. Eli, nah, I'll be the ghost. Every heroine needs one. He leaned in, kissed her. The camera kept rolling. That footage changed everything. Because they hadn't just betrayed me, they'd left a digital confession. I sent the timestamp to my uncle. His exact words, "This isn't defamation anymore, Noah. This is fraud. They conspired to fabricate abuse for money." That night, before I could decide what to do with it, I got one last message from Harper. No threats, no accusations. Just 5 words. "You can't stop the story." She was wrong. When my lawyer and I finally got access to the rest of the raw footage, I thought I'd already seen the worst of it. The fake crying, the lies, Eli's smug voice coaching her. I hadn't. The folder labeled Background Interviews held 8 hours of Harper sitting in front of a white backdrop, talking about me. Some clips were for the docuseries. Some were clearly practice takes, where she'd rehearsed different versions of the same story. But there was one file with a different title. Private Confessional, Not for Release. It was 39 minutes long. When I pressed play, the first thing I noticed was her face. No makeup this time. No lights. Just Harper sitting in a dark room, whispering like she was confessing to God. "You want to know why I did it?" she said to the camera. "Why I filmed the breakup. Why I lied. Why I made him the villain." She smiled. This small, crooked smirk I'd seen 1,000 times before. The one she used whenever she thought she was smarter than everyone else. Because nobody remembers the girl who just dates a guy. But everyone remembers the girl who escapes one. She leaned closer, eyes wild. "Do you know how many women have built careers off pain? Audiences crave it. They want the sob story, the monster, the redemption arc. And if the monster doesn't exist," she shrugged, "you make one." Couldn't breathe. She wasn't even trying to justify it. She was proud. "You think brands care if the story's real?" she continued. "They care about clicks. They care about watch time. And I gave it to them. I turned heartbreak into a business model." Her tone shifted, quieter, colder. "Noah was never supposed to see the video before I dumped him. That ruined the timing. I wanted him hurt but silent. Instead, he embarrassed me. Made me look weak. Couldn't let that stand. So, I fixed it." She paused, rubbing her temple, then laughed. "You know what the funny part is? I didn't even hate him. Not really. I just knew he wasn't going to make it big. I needed someone who could give me conflict. He was too normal, too decent. Boring doesn't trend." Every word landed like a punch. "He was a character," she said. "That's all. I gave him purpose. He should be thanking me. Without me, no one would even know his name." That's when she said the thing that froze my blood. "I learned something early on in marketing. If you can't control what people love, control what they hate. Hate lasts longer. Hate gets more engagement." She tilted her head and smiled again, softer this time. "So I made him hateable. And I made myself unforgettable." The screen cut to black. I just sat there, staring at the reflection of my own face in the monitor. I'd been destroyed by someone who saw my love as a career move. She didn't cheat out of lust. She didn't lie out of fear. She built a brand out of betrayal. It wasn't emotional, it was strategic. And suddenly everything made sense. The timing of the breakup, the pre-filmed clips, the Phoenix arc, Eli's involvement. She turned every ounce of our relationship into marketable pain. Richard's voice broke through my thoughts when I sent him the file. "We can end her," he said. "This is evidence of deliberate fraud and defamation. You could take every penny she's made, and the production companies too." But I didn't answer right away, because something about Harper's last words echoed in my head. Hate lasts longer. She wanted me angry. She wanted me to fight her publicly. That's how she'd stay relevant. If I wanted to really destroy her, I couldn't fight loud. I had to fight smart. And that meant turning her own logic against her, silently, surgically. Make her irrelevant. Erase her the way she tried to erase me. I looked at that final frame of her smirking into the lens and whispered, "You're about to find out what real silence costs." I didn't go public. Didn't post another video. Didn't respond to the noise. I went quiet, the kind of quiet that makes people nervous. That was the first step. Silence. Let her wonder what I was planning. Let her panic when engagement started dropping and the comments turned from, "You're so strong, babe," to, "Wait, where's the ex's side?" Because people online have short attention spans. And Harper's entire power came from keeping them watching. So I stopped being the villain she needed. I starved her of story. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, my lawyer sent copies of her confession to the production company, the brands she worked with, and the 2 sponsors still paying her for healing content. Each message came with the same note. Attached is footage of your influencer client admitting to fabricating abuse claims for financial gain. You may want to reconsider your partnership. By the end of the week, 3 sponsors had pulled out. The production company suspended the documentary indefinitely. And the influencer management firm that had signed her 2 months earlier terminated her contract, effective immediately. Then came the IRS report. She'd been taking payments under her personal Venmo and PayPal. No tax documentation. I didn't have to do much. I just forwarded the screenshots and transaction IDs anonymously. Let the system handle the rest. Eli, her so-called manager, tried to play hero online, posting cryptic tweets about toxic masculinity and cancel culture. Didn't last long. One of the YouTube commentary channels dropped the raw footage of him coaching her through fake crying. It spread like wildfire. His account was gone within 24 hours. Harper vanished too. No posts, no videos, just silence. But I wasn't done yet. A week later, the docuseries company reached out again. They still had to release something to recover losses. They offered to pay me another $25,000 to let them air a neutral version. I agreed, but only if they used her real confession at the end. They did. The episode dropped 3 months later under a new title, The Cost of Going Viral. It wasn't flattering. It was brutal. The internet tore her apart. Not in a gleeful way, in a disappointed, disgusted way. People finally saw the machinery behind the relatable heartbreak. Clips of her saying, "If the monster doesn't exist, make one," played everywhere. Commentators called it the most disturbing influencer confession ever recorded. Harper tried to apologize in a Notes app screenshot, claiming she'd been pressured by the industry. Nobody bought it. Her follower count dropped from 500,000 to under 20,000 in a week. Then she disappeared completely. I never reached out, never gloated, didn't need to. The money from the legal settlement and docuseries paid off my student debt. Got me a down payment on a small condo in German Village. Quiet streets, big windows, no ring lights. Life got normal again. Normal was all I ever wanted. 6 months later, I ran into Harper at a Target near campus. She looked small. No makeup, hoodie, pushing a cart full of clearance groceries. When she saw me, she froze. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey," I answered. She hesitated. "I guess you won." I shook my head. "There wasn't a game, Harper. You burned everything for followers." She looked down. I just wanted to matter. For a moment, I almost pitied her. Almost. But pity's a luxury for people who didn't turn you into content. I paid for my stuff, walked out, and didn't look back. That night, I sat on my balcony with a beer, thinking about everything. The flowers, the lies, the followers. And I realized something. Revenge isn't posting louder or fighting dirtier. It's building a life that makes your silence louder than their noise. Harper taught me that, and I used it to end her. She wanted to be remembered. Now she is as the girl who faked abuse for clout. Me? I'm just the guy who walked away, debt-free, drama-free, and finally at peace. Funny how that works. She chased fame. I caught peace. And peace pays better.